eye to eye with AJ so bright. Cody by my side, we shine all night. Rambo in the cut, he ready to fight. Together, we the squad, feel the vibe. Lights so cold, but we burn so hot. Every step we take, we hit the spot. Never gonna stop, we take the top. This the life we chose, we never flop. Eye to eye, we see the glow. AJ, Cody, Rambo show. Everywhere we go, they know. This the wave we ride, let's go. AJ got the move so clean. Cody got the style so mean. Rambo got the heart so keen. Together we the dream team. Lights so cold, but we burn so hot. Every step we take, we hit the spot.
Welcome back, ballers.
Never gonna stop, we take the top. This the life we chose, we never flop. Eye to eye, we see the goal. AJ, Cody, Rambo show.
Can we get a thumbs up in the chat? I want to make sure that you guys can hear me okay. Hey, at least Coffee Girl likes the song. Steven likes it too. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back, ballers, to another episode of Eye to Eye with AJ, Rambo, and Cody. Cody, Rambo, how are you guys doing today? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I hear you're fine.
Yeah, doing good. Can hear you. And great song. I had a smile on my face, so good one.
Yeah, I don't know how it lands with everybody, but shout out to AI once again. The tool whipped that one up, and I thought it was catchy. You know, I like to mix it up every once in a while. So, welcome back, everybody. Once again, Eye to Eye with AJ, Rambo, and Cody. Obviously, there's always so much to talk about, you guys. And shout out to you, Cody. Great live stream earlier today. I was able to catch pretty much the latter half of that particular stream. But outside of that, okay, we can hear everybody okay. And let's jump right into introductions, and we'll get started. Rambo, kick us off, my friend. Where can the audience find and support your work?
Yeah, thank you. I can be found at patreon.com/thetruthcodes. Just $1 a month. You can join for free. There's not as much content for free, but you can join for free. And The Truth Codes on Instagram. That's where I can be found. Yeah.
Just $5 a month, you guys, for all of Rambo's content. Please make sure to check out patreon.com/thetruthcodes. And you can also find his work, like he said, on Instagram at thetruthcodes, spelled exactly as it is. Cody, take it away, my friend. Where can those that are not familiar with you and your work, where can they find you and support you?
Yeah, thanks AJ and Rambo again for having me on. Appreciate you guys a lot. And also everyone in the chat. You guys can find me at Decoding with Cody on YouTube, and also a bit on X and Instagram also. And you have a Buy Me a Coffee link, which for me is now called Buy Me a Watermelon, because I'm not a big fan of coffee. So if you guys go in there and buy me something, it's actually going to be a watermelon. So that link there is buymeacoffee.com/decoding with Cody. So that's where you can find me. Appreciate it.
Wait, so do I need to update the link to Buy Me a Watermelon?
No. The link will still say buy me a coffee, but when you buy something, if someone buys something, it'll still say watermelon because it's watermelon season. And I figured, hey, I mean, I've been eating watermelons, so it's a good thing to add there. I thought.
Very cool. I heard that what is it? Seedless watermelon is the best for you, or is it the ones with seeds?
I mean, I don't think there's. I mean, the ones without seeds are genetically modified, but I think they're both fine for you. But I mean, people will say that the ones with seeds are better for you, but I don't know for sure. But
Very good. Well, thank you guys both again so much. For those that aren't familiar with me or my work, my name is AJ, otherwise known as Balll Don't Lie with 3 L's and Ball. I have a Patreon link, patreon.com/onthemoneyball for those interested in my content when it comes to notes and picks in the sports betting realm. And I've also written a handful of books. You guys can either purchase those on the shop link on my Patreon, or if you guys would like those for free electronically, you guys can email me at wordplaybook with 3 O's in book. So without further ado, let's dive into it. This is going to be a little bit of a kind of off the cuff stream, I would say. I don't have a particular presentation readily available to kind of kick things off, but there's always so much to talk about. You know, Rambo, Cody, we were just talking about, you know, we have the upcoming death anniversary of Princess Diana. And Rambo, I know you got another video in the works. I think you have that intro.
Yes.
Do you have that? Let's see. I don't know if did you. Yeah, if you wouldn't mind just requesting, maybe let's just kick it off with some of your work today, and then we'll flow from there. How does that sound?
Yeah, thanks. So yeah, this is just a 2-minute intro to a video that I will upload to my Patreon tomorrow.
Perfect.
So do you have it?
We have it. I can see it. I don't know if you want to maybe. Yeah, there we go. Full screen it.
All
Perfect.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Our projections show that by the year 2025, not only America, but the entire planet will be under the protection and the dominion of this power alliance. The gains have been substantial, both for ourselves and for you, the human power elite.
By the year 2025, specifically, this from a movie released in 1988.
Our projections show that by the year 2025,
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
That was fantastic, Rambo. That's one of my favorite lines of the movie.
Yeah, that's an iconic line from the movies, and it's no coincidence when you do the Gematria on it and you see the broader ritual. You'll see the significance of it. So it also ties into thank you, Shrapnels. It ties into something that I showed earlier. You see on the back of a photographer's shirt, it says, what's it again?
Entering another dimension.
Yeah, enter another dimension. That was for, Liverpool Football Club of the Premier League. One of the widest supported sports franchises in the world. Well, they had a new deal with Adidas. Their Nike deal ran out, and Adidas is more than double their Nike deal. It's a staggering deal, and they have a first-rate high production reveal of their new uniform, and that's a behind-the-scenes look from their YouTube channel and from their website. There's no coincidence they put that photographer there. It says enter another dimension. This is the same team that just had one of their star players die over the summer, just July 3rd. It doesn't stop with this team, Liverpool. They're so steeped in this kind of occult symbolism, and it ties into Roddy Piper, because what is They Live about? They Live is about perceiving outside of 3D. It's perceiving another dimension, and there is dimensional travel in They Live. And Roddy Piper ties into Hulk Hogan. He's had plenty of matches with Hulk Hogan, and he has the same colors, the red and yellow, as Hulk Hogan. So much of that is tied into this. So enter another dimension has the same gematria, I believe it's 245, with Liverpool Football Club. Well, that line of Roddy Piper, I have come here to chew gum and to kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum, is 245. It's the same gematria value as enter another dimension at Liverpool Football Club. So all those will come together in the video. And the main focus there is the whole concept of dimensional travel, transcending dimensions and perceiving in other dimensions, which what that's about. They've done it in the NFL. There's been a They Live tribute in the NFL. I show that, and the same color, again, along the lines of red and yellow. But the big thing is, so it's called another dimension. So it's, and I've already been talking in my videos, those who follow my work, I've been talking about the whole concept of dimensions and perceiving higher dimensions, and the questions we ask about this realm. I think it's credible that this is a lower dimension, and there are maybe dimensions lower than this, maybe dimensions higher than this, but they're focusing on this theme. And you notice, what do they focus? What year do they focus on in this movie that was released in 1988, 2025? I talked about there was Back to the Future. It's the same with They Live. The elites get together, and what year do they focus on? 2025. So yeah, the video should be about maybe 20 minutes or so long. That's the intro.
And that'll come out tomorrow?
Tomorrow, yes. So it should come out tomorrow.
It makes me think too about a lot of the stuff Cody's been talking about as well, about, all of like the ripple connections and the money connections. And I just think about with Roddy Piper, it makes me think of the phrase "pay the piper," right? So there could be something there with that. And have you thought any deeper into that line about bubblegum? I wonder if there's something about why that line he references bubblegum and kicking ass. Not trying to reach for anything, but that's a very interesting line. Did that stem from something else, or did it originate with that movie? I wonder.
I don't know. I can try to look into it, but no, I can't. Off the top of my head, I can't think what the significance of bubblegum might be. There could be significance. There could be. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Cody.
No problem. I just wanted to say, AJ, you just said something about money. Well, in markets, you could say right now we are in a bubble. The markets are overly inflated, and as soon as this pops, that's when you're going to see some serious shit, I think, is what Doc Brown would say, because these markets are inflated by printing of fake money from the Federal Reserve. So I mean, if you think about it, the bubble pop would actually go perfectly with that bubblegum thing. So
that's brilliant, Cody. I hadn't thought about that.
And where is he when he makes that comment, that line? Where is he?
I don't remember.
He's in a bank.
Oh my God.
Oh,
there you go.
Wow.
I was saying how Liverpool Football Club are tied into this with the whole dimension thing. You'll see on the front of the shirts in soccer, you wear your main sponsor on your shirt. They're sponsored by a bank too.
I think we're onto something there, you guys. Absolutely. Cody, would you mind elaborating a little bit, just your takeaways from this past weekend? I know that this weekend was Tisha B'Av, and we had the SummerSlam. I was able to stream it on Peacock, but being with my wife, that's not really something she cares to watch. So, yeah, what are your thoughts? Let's maybe segue over to SummerSlam. What were your takeaways?
Yeah, well, there's a couple of big ones, really. I mean, first of all, it was a 2-night the first ever 2-night SummerSlam. So again, it coincided with both nights of Tisha B'Av. And the first night, the main event featured CM Punk, born on the Back to the Future travel date, the October 26th. Not the exact year, but he's born on that day. He lost to, or he beat, finally after years, because he left the company, came back after many years, and he beat the standing champion right now, Gunther, the Austrian. So we have this Hitler connection here also. Huge Hitler connection with this guy. But he beat this guy. But what happened was he finally got his moment to get his championship back after like 10 years or more. And so remember, I've been telling you guys about the Money in the Bank. So we're going back to money again. The wrestler that had the Money in the Bank, which is just a guaranteed opportunity to challenge for a title at any moment you want. So you can just cash it in the middle of a match, and you can win and anyone who uses this briefcase, this Money in the Bank, they almost always accomplish it because they can cash it in unexpectedly and in the middle of another match when all the wrestlers are already tired, and they can easily win. So what happened was Seth Rollins, who had the Money in the Bank, he faked an injury, and a lot of the people, see, this is where they start to blur the lines between real and fake, because everyone in the fans thought that this was a real injury. But the WWE, of course, I didn't think it was real. Like, it looked so fake to me. Like, he barely, like, on the injury, it barely looked like he hurt his knee, but they made it off like he had surgery and all this stuff. And at the very end of that show, right after CM Punk beat Gunther, he comes out with crutches, and then he starts to walk back, and he drops the crutches and reveals that he's not actually injured. And then he ends up cashing in the Money in the Bank and winning, using the Money in the Bank. And as we were talking about, this guy, Seth Rollins, has two people by his side right now. Both of them named Bronson. And one of them is Bronson Reed. One of them is Braun Breaker. And I've shown that in Swedish, the word Braun means the bridge. So there's something with bridges here, which I'm gonna hit on a bit. And what else was I gonna say? So yeah, so to keep it short, he cashes in the Money in the Bank, and this Bronson Reed guy that you have up, he's been stealing the sneakers of Roman Reigns. And I've been covering the last 2 weeks. I've been covering a movie that came out in 9/11/1992, where they hack into the Federal Reserve and they see the cryptocurrency XRP-262, which many years later would become an actual cryptocurrency, who works with banks, by the way, and who wants to become their own bank, Ripple. So that's what happened. So then you have this sneaker thing, and this literally pays tribute to this 1992 movie, which is about money, the Federal Reserve, and sneakers. And this happened after I was doing decode after decode about this movie, Sneakers. Of course, there's other things here with this, but that was the first night. And then the second night, Cody Rhodes, which I covered mainly in my last video, he redeemed his loss to John Cena on Hitler's birthday this year, on 4/20, where he lost his championship at WrestleMania. And he redeemed it, and he came back to put on an all-time classic with John Cena, who's retiring. Of course, I've showed that he's been coming out saying the last time is now. And Cody Rhodes became the new champion just before WWE heads to Paris in the tribute to Princess Diana. And I've showed how Cody Rhodes is an absolute clear symbol of King Charles. Can be no doubt about it. If you guys watch my last video today, I can't show it right now, but you'll see that he has the same initials. He walks around with the CR on his chest, and that's King Charles' cipher, is CR. And then his theme song when he comes out to is literally called Kingdom. and he just became King of the Ring this year. And that's why he was able to win against John Cena, because when he won the King of the Ring, he also got an opportunity to face John Cena. And on top of that, he when he comes out to his theme song, if you just watch the beginning of his entrance, it says, "Wrestling has more than one royal family." So he has about, and this isn't even all of them, I can't even think of all of them, but there's so many things that points him to King Charles. And so the fact that he's going to be the champion again going into this Paris event is not a coincidence, because of course Princess Diana died in Paris on the exact day that they're holding this show. So yeah, that's my biggest takeaways from the first the two nights. But obviously this ties back to Tisha B'Av with the two towers. And as Rambo was mentioning, in They Live, you got Roddy Piper, who again is connected to Hulk Hogan and wrestling, absolutely. And with wrestling being pushed in our face recently, they want us to really be focusing on it, in my opinion. And I've always been focusing on it, but I think now people understand that and the fact that one of the biggest predicted programmings for 9/11 was Hulk Hogan wrestling. And then one of the biggest revealing movies of this movie actually has a wrestler in it, Roddy Piper. So the 2025 thing is interesting too, because I was thinking while Rambo was talking, you said that the phrase about the bubble gum equals 245. Well, I was thinking, 2025 is the sum of 45 times 45, which is 245s. So I'm wondering if that has anything to do with, because sometimes I look at numbers like that, 245, like 245s. And yeah, so I think there's more I wanted to say, but I'll let you guys take it away for a bit. But that's kind of my gist of what I saw this weekend. But there's way more, but I could go on. So
yeah, it makes me think of Donald Trump, number 45. Right. I mean, now he's number 47, but now he's back for his second term. So maybe there's a Trump connection there. 245s kind of thing. And we know that since Grover Cleveland, right, the count has always kind of been off. So Trump is technically technically the 44th president, right? And Obama the 43rd, etc.
Yeah,
that whole thing with Grover Cleveland. But yeah, Rambo, what are your thoughts?
So much of this is connected that these are seemingly unconnected subjects, but yeah, the King Charles connection, that's relevant. Last week I talked about the Elizabeth connection. Elizabeth is an important connection there as well. Yeah, it's amazing how many different things tie into this. So King Charles, so he was the ex-husband of Diana, and we're coming up on the anniversary of her death, and so Elizabeth ties into Hulk Hogan as far as Miss Elizabeth, who was part of the trinity of Hogan, Macho Man Randy Savage, and Miss Elizabeth, Elizabeth Hewlett, and there was predictive programming there. But so I alluded to another event. Again, this is probably not. It will not be a popular probably topic to most people, but it was the European Championship of women's soccer, and that was Spain versus England. And the Elizabeth tie there was Queen Elizabeth I, who defeated the Spanish Armada. And that is when the transfer took place, when Britain became the superpower. It was Spain before that. It became an empire under Elizabeth I. And I think that's the Elizabeth who's also relevant at this time, because the Spanish flag, it's a little small flag there, but if you see it up close, it has twin pillars on it, the pillars of Hercules. Now we're back on the Hercules archetype, which Hulk Hogan is part of. Hercules descends to the underworld to complete his 12th labor. Yeah, there's the twin pillars. So when Hulk Hogan died, and he was the one who said, and he wears red and yellow, those are his colors, and he says the twin pillars must come down. We destroy the twin pillars. Right ahead of Spain playing England females, I figured the twin pillars would come down since the red and yellow had died. But it's a reference. So the Elizabeth here, who was associated with Hulk Hogan, this is a reference to Elizabeth I. And yeah, there are all sorts of connections there. But
Rambo, really quick. Last week, right, we were talking about the Ozzy Osbourne celebrity deathmatch alignments to the work you've been doing, and Ozzy holding up Queen Elizabeth after his victory. Shout out to Mr. S. We did not touch on this last week, but obviously he faced Elton John, and you were just talking about Hercules. Did you know that Elton John's middle name is Hercules?
Yes, several people left comments saying, I can't believe I missed that. But it is amazing how Hercules is relevant. And again, why is Hercules relevant? Because you have the pillars of Hercules, which are on the Spanish flag. So when Hulk Hogan is talking about twin pillars, he's a Herculean. He's based off of the Herculean archetype. Also, Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago, and Hulk Hogan is associated with Donald Trump. He's up on stage with Donald Trump, who's a member of the WWE Hall of Fame. Donald Trump has the Pillars of Hercules symbol, which is on the Spanish coat of arms and on the Spanish flag. He has it all over Mar-a-Lago. And he's a Gemini too. But Hercules is relevant to this because in legend, Hercules separated Africa from Europe at the Strait of Gibraltar. So the North Pillar is in Spain and the South Pillar is in Morocco in North Africa. And that's in legend where Hercules separated. He divided the continents at the Strait of Gibraltar. That division is also part of the persona of Hulk Hogan. Think of how he tears his shirts. How many shirts has this guy torn? He's a divider. That's what Hercules is. So Hercules is depicted with one pillar on either side, and he's pushing them apart to separate the continents. This is what's on the Spanish flag. Yeah. So what's he doing there? He's dividing. This is Hercules dividing the continents. Think about that symbolism: dividing Africa from Europe, which is what that does. And he's a Trump supporter. Even Cody alluded to the Hitler symbolism in WWE with this wrestler. He said Gunter. There's a lot of Hitler Nazi symbolism going around. You remember Elon Musk doing a full-on Nazi salute, which you call a Roman salute. It wasn't. He was doing something else, and they snapped it while his hand was up there. No, that was a full-on Nazi salute that Elon Musk did. Now, it's an established code with white supremacists that 88 is a code for Heil Hitler because H is the 8th letter of the alphabet. And Hulk Hogan has those initials, HH. And he fits, who knows what his real personality is. Donald Trump is literally in the Acting Hall of Fame. He has a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. He's in the Entertainment Hall of Fame. Hulk Hogan, his entire persona is stolen from Billy Graham. Everything is stolen. The handlebar mustache, everything. The use of the word brother. So who knows what Hulk Hogan's real persona is? And if you'll remember, there have been a couple of major controversies with Hulk Hogan around racial controversies. He made a whole bunch of racial comments. So he is kind of with the initials HH. He does have that Nazi vibe about him that they're using him for. And think about what did Hercules do? Now, it wasn't in a racial context, but Hercules separated Africa from Europe. And Hulk Hogan, he plays into that. Yeah, I could go in so many different directions, but yeah, so Elizabeth is Elizabeth I, who defeated the Spanish Armada. There's this changeover. That's when the British Empire took over from the Spanish Empire, and they became the dominant force in the world. And yeah, so yeah, there's so much more connected with Elizabeth, and the fact that they have Queen Elizabeth fighting with Elton John and Ozzy Osbourne. So what happened in that claymation, to kind of pivot to that claymation, I showed it in my video, but they really desecrated Queen Elizabeth in that. If you slow motion and do a freeze frame, you'll see that they sexually assault Queen Elizabeth in Celebrity Deathmatch claymation, which is what's 14. It's rated like for 14 years and older. It's appropriate. But if you do the freeze frame, and they've been known to do this in Hollywood, they'll slip those images in there. I don't know if you want to look at the claymation Celebrity Deathmatch. They really do. It's a destruction of the Sacred Family, which I've talked about.
There was a site I found. I have so many tabs open. It's crazy. There was a site that I found that had all of the Celebrity Deathmatch episodes on it, all on one platform. I would have to pull it up, but there was one thing that kind of stood out to me as well. Rambo, you and I were talking about the Truman Show last week. I rewatched it, and that yellow and red symbolism is crazy with Truman Burr Bank, right? So we can't get away from those money themes, because Truman wears the red and yellow pretty often in that movie. And even in his basement, he has these kind of like pennants or banners that are of red and yellow. And the reason I bring that up, let me shift my screen here really quick. You guys might find this interesting, but when you think about when Hogan was still alive, he did that, he did that whole campaign for Donald Trump, and he rips his shirt off like always, and he said, "Enough is enough." Do you guys remember that? When he said, "Enough is enough, we need Trump back in office," kind of thing.
Yeah, I didn't know the details of what he said, but yeah, I'm familiar with his appearances with Trump and tearing the shirt off. I didn't know about. Oh yeah, enough is enough. Yeah, I'm vaguely rings a bell vaguely.
Yeah, there were a lot of people at that time just in our community that was touching on that back in the day. And the reason was so here's the quote. He said, "When they took a shot at my hero," right? Can't forget about the fake Trump assassination. "When they took a shot at my hero and they tried to kill the next president of the United States, enough was enough." And then that's when he ripped off his shirt. Well, what I thought was interesting is, once again, we're talking about money here for a second. For those that are not familiar with the movie The Truman Show, there's a scene where he's walking down the street and he recognizes his father, who he lost sailing, right? And he was dressed as a homeless man. And that scene's pretty frantic, right? He says, "Dad," and then everybody in the Truman Show pretty much rush him out of the stage or whatever. And then the next day they show this headline, because Truman always goes to pick up a newspaper right on his way to work, and it mentions right here, "Crackdown on homelessness. Sea Haven Island city fathers say enough is enough." And I thought that was interesting too, because when this first came out, when Hulk Hogan was saying enough is enough, talking about Donald Trump, sounds kind of similar to Truman, right? Truman, Trump, right? It's kind of the first few letters of the name. But check this out, you guys. There's an Illuminati card called Enough is Enough. You guys familiar with that?
Yeah, the Illuminati playing card game. Yep.
Yeah.
It looks like Trump, doesn't it? Yelling.
It does, yeah. So let me shift screens here. This is the one thing about StreamYard that's so tricky to navigate sometimes. So just give me a second. There we go. Yeah, right here. So there's an Illuminati card game. Look at this, you guys. titled "Enough Is Enough." Well, not the game itself. There is a card in the Illuminati game called "Enough Is Enough," and look at that. I mean, it's pretty spot on if you ask me. As far as Trump, it even has the yellow and red in there.
Can you put up on the screen?
Oh shoot! Sorry,
yeah.
Yeah, right here.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Shoot.
Yeah, that's. Yeah, there's definitely something to that.
Yeah, I don't have all of the connections yet, but just thinking about the Truman Show, he wears that red and yellow, just like Hulk Hogan, Truman, Trump. The headline, "Enough is Enough," cracking down on homelessness, and the Illuminati card game with the playing card, "Enough is Enough," with Trump's face on it. So
now homelessness it is part of the plot of They Live, because Roddy Piper's character, who's John Nada, is homeless in that movie. He is homeless, yeah. And he's looking for work. There's a bad economy and he's looking for work. So homelessness is a major part of that movie. It's amazing how all these different things tie into these same themes.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, it makes me think about Agenda 2030, where they say you will own nothing and be happy. So am I going to be homeless and be happy? You know?
No, what they're saying is you'll own nothing, but everything you have, you'll rent. So
right,
somebody's going to own it. If you're paying rent, whoever you're paying rent to owns it, right? So,
well, and even if you fully paid off your mortgage, you still have the property taxes that you owe every year. So, I mean, do you ever technically fully own a house, even if you've paid it off? But
yeah, remember when you quoted my money metaphors video?
Yeah.
Human beings have to pay to live.
Right.
You literally have to pay to live. Like no other animal inhabitant of Earth does that.
Cody, you still out there, brother?
Yeah, while I was watching, or just want to touch on a few things real fast. The with Hulk Hogan tying back to Hitler, and the WWE having a few references right now to that. There's actually the only German wrestler in the company right now is dressing up in a mask as a Mexican luchador. So there's something interesting going on there. Something with masks. They have a German guy playing a Mexican masked luchador with an American mask. So it's really weird what they're doing there. And don't forget the current Mexico president is a woman by the name of Scheinbaum, which is German. So I think that has something to do with it. Also, with going back real fast to Hercules and Elton John, somebody brought to my attention today, as I was doing my decode, that Elton John has a song called "Candle in the Wind," which is a reference to Princess Diana and Marilyn Monroe. And of course, we were just talking about this with Elton John, and it's funny that Elton John also appears in that Celebrity Deathmatch. And now here I am tying this all to Princess Diana, and his song "Candle in the Wind" does have that reference to her. And what else was I gonna say? Man, I always forget. I always forget what all the stuff in my head is as I'm waiting. There was something else I really wanted to say, but now it's slipped my mind. But those were the two things I can think of now. But also, with Roddy Piper being in that movie, also I think it's important to mention that not only did he have many matches with Hulk Hogan, he's also was also very. Didn't he? I think he wore a lot of times that same colors. So yeah, I think it's, and then also those colors also remind me of like kind of the communist colors. China has the red and yellow, and Russia, well, the Soviet Union had that red and yellow flag at one point, right? So I think that's also could tie into it. And then going back to the Spanish thing, this Princess Diana car crash stuff that's going on. Well, we just had and I know Rambo knows about this. Yota just died in Spain in a car crash, and you know, he obviously played for an England team, and so I think that there's way more here with this. I was trying to look into that more today with how this car crash with Yota was tied in with Diana, but I mean, I know that it happened like 1 month and 29 days before Diana's death anniversary, that crash, and it just so happens that the name of the show that WWE is putting on that day is Clash in Paris, which equals 129. So there's that. But I was trying to think. Yeah, I don't know. My mind's all over the place today. I keep forgetting everything I want to point out, but I think that was the main points. And then what was? Never mind. Go ahead, guys.
Yeah, Rambo, were you going to say something?
No, I do have a lot of 71 connections because Hogan died at 71. But here's a kind of interesting thing. So we speculate here. I don't know if I think they've cracked down on this sort of thing. I don't know to what extent they've cracked down on it if you allege that somebody's not really dead. All the world's a stage. And come on, we know we can't prove it. Not everybody who they say is dead is dead. And it's in the Truman Show. You just alluded to it. His father was supposed to be dead, right, in the Truman Show. And he assumed he was dead. He's mourning a late father, and he sees him on the street. And he wasn't supposed to. Like you said, they had to shut the whole thing down. That was a little glitch, I guess, in the Matrix.
You know what's crazy about that too, Rambo? Because I've been dissecting the whole movie. You know, after that scene, right? There's a scene where he's in his living room with his mother, and he says, I saw Dad. I saw him. And, you know, his mother plays it off like, yeah, I see him 100 times a day. And he's like, no, I literally saw him. And then he asked his mom, he goes, did Dad have a twin? Did he have a brother? And then that's when the mother just says, Truman, you know that you're an only son, or he was an only son just like you. So, I mean, there's that twin and brother connections right in there as well, rolling it back up to the father. And we were just talking about this offline about Bronny James having his cardiac arrest 2 years ago, or 2 years prior to the day of Hulk Hogan's death, with that same red and yellow connections, which Truman wears, excuse me, very close. But I just want to throw that in there.
Yeah, but so is everybody dead who they say is? No, we can't prove it. And we can't say where they go. We can only speculate. But the movies, the quote-unquote fiction, very often has more truth than what is considered the truth, which is the news. They put so much stuff in movies. And I think they hint at, so the Truman Show, I think that's one of the things they hint at. And we can speculate on Hulk Hogan's death. We can speculate on Diogo Jota's death. You can speculate on Diana's death. I mean, there is a lot of evidence. This is from outside mainstream that she was actually sitting up and talking in the tunnel after the crash, like actually sitting up and talking. And the ambulance did not go. There's a hospital 5 minutes away, and the ambulance did not go straight to the hospital. There's this big delay in the tunnel, so who knows? But even with Diogo Jota, they say it was a fiery crash. This is a single vehicle crash. It was fiery, and they say it was him and his brother in the car, and their bodies were unrecognizable. They were burnt so badly that they were unrecognizable. Now, the thing about something like that is that means then you can't actually, no one actually gets to see the body. Could it have happened? Yeah, it could have. But when you think about it, if they were to fake a death, when you say something's burned beyond recognition, well, that covers you when it comes to, you know, if somebody wants proof to say, yeah, I actually saw the body. Well, nobody saw the body because they say things like that make you skeptical. But so this is the thing. So they kind of, like with Hulk Hogan, there's a story with Roddy Piper. When Roddy Piper died, and you can look this one up, look this up. when Roddy Piper died, this is according to Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan brought this out last year. He waited till last year to bring this up. Hulk Hogan says that 2 days after Roddy Piper died, he got a text message from him.
He got a text from Roddy Piper?
Yes, 2 days after he died. This is not some old message that. No, he said Roddy Piper texted him 2 days after he died. And of course, people are going to say, it's Hogan being Hogan, and he's a performer and he's a bit of a clown. I think this is another example of how they code this stuff to let you little occulted hints as to what's really going on. So you do have to question, what are they trying to tell you? Did Roddy Piper really die when they said he? I don't know if have you brought up the story?
Yeah, I'm looking for it right now. I'm still working on this whole navigation between screens. Hold on just a second. Was it the podcast where he's wearing this blue shirt?
No, I think there should be several stories on it from last year. It says Hulk Hogan received message 2 days after Roddy Piper, something like that. I guess you type in something like that.
Okay.
Hulk Hogan receives message from Roddy Piper 2 days after his death, I guess.
Okay, here we go. Hulk Hogan says he got a text from Roddy Piper 2 days after
Piper's death.
His death. Hulk Hogan said that he received a voice message from Roddy Piper 2 days after he died. Quote, "It was a voice message that came in 2 days after he died, and it goes, 'I'm just loving you, my brother.'" There's your brotherly love. Once again, just walking with Jesus and loving you, my brother. Interesting.
Yeah, that came after he was dead.
Wow.
What are they telling you? Sometimes the deck. I mean, people aren't immortal; they do die. But that's actually what they're telling you. I mean, from that you can kind of glean that probably Roddy Piper didn't die when they said he did. From that,
Hulk Hogan's nickname was the Immortal, also, by the way, the Immortal Hulk Hogan, and to go with back to the car crash real fast. Don't forget, Hulk Hogan's son is famous for being in a car crash. So I think that was part of that was what kind of linked it all together with me and how it all connects back. Why WWE is now paying tribute to this car crash with Diana, and Hulk Hogan just died. Well, his son is famous for having a car crash in August, by the way, the same month. Almost 10 years to the day of Princess Diana.
That's when he was 17, the inverse of 71. That's interesting.
Yeah. And the 71, Rambo mentioned he had a lot of 71s, but I found a huge amount of 71s in my Princess Diana decode because Cody Rhodes is born, his birthday falls 71 days after Queen Elizabeth and 71 days before Queen Elizabeth's death date. So right in the perfect middle. And also Diana was born on 7/1 and car crash equals 71. And Prince William was 71 days after his birthday for his mother's car crash. And Federal Reserve equals 71. I mean, there's a lot of 71s, which I think ties back into why Hogan was reportedly passing at 71. But yeah, it's interesting with the Roddy Piper thing because, like the fact that he said, "Loving you, brother," like once again, going back to the brotherly love and, like even I got a decode probably coming later that I think you're really like AJ with the two brothers, the two twins in the WWE who were born in San Francisco. I found some crazy stuff with them connected to the Twin Towers going down and there being brothers, and they had their only match against each other in the city of brotherly love, which is when Cody Rhodes won the title for the first time against Roman Reigns. So yeah, I think I'm still putting it together, but I think it'll be pretty insane to go with our brotherly love stuff.
I would say, Cody, make sure to take a look back at that twin brother stabbing story earlier this year, the stabbing in the heart story.
Yeah,
if you can remember, that was in Dallas. And apparently, you know, the twin brother was holding the other brother as he died in his arms, being stabbed in the heart, of course. So I'm sure there's some alignments there too with what you're already working on.
Yeah. I bet you there is. And these two brothers, you know, I'm sure they're tied to it somehow. I mean, they're Roman Reigns' brother or cousin, so they're a huge part of WWE. And only one of them was involved this weekend. He fought with Roman Reigns this weekend, but his name is Jey Uso, which sounds like Jesus. And that was the guy I mentioned last week, whose nickname is Main Event. And with what Rambo also said earlier about the 1988, that the movie They Live came out in 1988. Well, that was the year of the first SummerSlam, which we just had again last night. And that was the year of the main event, which Hulk Hogan featured, where he fought Andre the Giant. Well, Andre the Giant was from France. So here we go again, right back around. And Andre the Giant, think about it. In my video, I talked about the Eiffel Tower, which stands behind Cody or beside Cody Rhodes in the cover. And think about it, Andre the Giant, the tower. He's like a big tower, you know. So I bet you Andre the Giant is hugely connected with the Eiffel Tower and this whole thing. I haven't had a chance to look at it yet, but there's, I mean, we could go for days, but it just seems like it always goes back to this these themes here that's continuing to pop up. So,
and shout out to Mr. S. Cody, if you did touch on this already, I apologize. I must have missed it, but Vince McMahon had a car crash the same day that the Hulk died as well.
Oh, what?
Yeah,
I didn't know that. Is that really was that really in the news recently?
Yeah, it was in Connecticut. It was a Bentley. It was a multi-car crash. So there were like 4 cars involved. He hit a whole bunch of cars. It was in Connecticut.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Bentley,
there you go.
How did I not even know about this?
I'm disappointed in you, Cody, brother.
Yeah, I just didn't catch it. Like I don't know how. I mean, I'm surprised that no one even wrote me. I don't know if Mr. S wrote a comment on my channel somewhere or something, but usually my subscribers would or Derek. I'm surprised. I don't know if me and Derek are both wrestling decoders. I mean, but Derek, he hasn't mentioned it to me either. But I'm assuming he doesn't even know, because I was just talking to him today about the car crash stuff. And well, there you go. I mean, gosh, I can't believe I missed this in this decode today. So always missing something, but wow. I mean, that just kind of brings it even more together.
Yeah, I mean, what are the odds, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's it's crazy.
Rambo, were you going to say something?
No, I talk about the chariot archetype a lot. And what I find interesting, if you look at the tarot, the most popular, which is the Rider-Waite deck, the image on the chariot card. It's a charioteer. On the card is a winged disc.
What card was that? What should I search?
The Chariot Tarot card. So this is just some symbolism that I've noticed here. There's a nice picture of the Chariot card. So there's you can see a winged disc in the middle. See that red plus right above the red plus?
Yeah, hold on just a second. Every time I click on an image, it goes to a different tab, and I gotta like redo it. So I apologize. Hold on.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, it's just about I'm just pointing out some symbolism that I notice. Yeah, you can enlarge, but you see the winged disc above the plus sign in the middle of the chariot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, that's pretty much the logo of Bentley. So that's just the common symbolism, because he was driving a Bentley and he crashed a Bentley.
Well, yeah, and you've talked a bit about the wheel recently. I mean, you know, Happy Gilmore too. He wears that Boston jersey. The Boston logo is essentially a wheel, right behind the B.
That's another. Yeah, the wheel symbol is that's like a whole decode unto itself. But I can show you some of the 71s that I came up with.
Yeah,
in connection to all.
Let's do that. I will.
Some of my 71s based on because Hulk Hogan died at 71, so.
Cody, did you end up finishing Happy Gilmore 2? I got through most of it. We can talk about that later.
I actually didn't finish it yet. I was pretty busy this week, but I'm definitely going to finish it. I just haven't. I don't even remember how far I got through that movie. Actually, now I think I got about halfway through.
It's a tough watch.
Yeah, it's not so good, is it?
No. Rambo, take us away, man, with these 71s because I'm interested.
Yeah, so this is Hulk Hogan, him dying at age 71. And some of these 71s that tie in, and just so happened, Cody contacted me on Instagram and said that he had some Diana connections because on her death anniversary, they had some wrestling, but I already had some Diana connections. So I said, yeah, I might as well present this here. So Hulk Hogan died at 71, and we know about the main event where they predicted the Twin Towers and the terror attacks. They were pretty explicit. And this is from the television broadcast. I'm just look at the image they have. That's the Twin Towers, the World Trade Center. Some pretty diabolical stuff. I mean, we can't deny that they knew ahead of time. So the Twin Towers was the name of the adversary of Hulk Hogan and Macho Man Randy Savage. These are their adversaries, the Twin Towers, Big Boss Man and Akeem. The Twin Towers. Well, in Gematria, the Twin Towers is 71. I think this should be Hulk Hogan's defining moment. Like you said, there's no other 9/11 prediction at the level of this one. This is the 9/11 predictive program. Out of all of them, they were specific. Terror attacks, bring down the Twin Pillars. So the Twin Towers is 71. But Sacred Feminine is also 71 because they encoded that into it with Miss Elizabeth being part of the trio. And I've shown how you always have the trios, the two males and the female. And the female represents the Sacred Feminine, which is 71. And the Herculean archetype that Hulk Hogan is based upon, well, Hercules in the Temple of Dagon brought down the twin pillars that were holding up most of the structure and collapsed the Temple of Dagon in legend. And so bringing down the twin pillars could be a reference to Hercules, which I've mentioned. And Hercules is related to the underworld because Hercules has to go into the underworld to complete his 12th and most difficult task. And think of the underworld. Think of how Diana, they say she died in the tunnel. And I showed in my part 1 to Judgment Day how Elizabeth Hewlett, who she's a Persephone figure, Persephone being the queen of the underworld, the Hades abducted, how they did predictive programming on her death, and they had her going through the tunnels of the stadium where they held this main event. Very much a tunnel underground theme similar to Diana. So this is the Herculean theme. I even said Hercules divided the continents. I mean, who's more of a divider than Hulk Hogan and Donald Trump? Who knows what their real personalities are? But so temple is very central to this. The temple to Dagon is the Temple of Solomon. This Temple of Solomon is known for its twin pillars. That's the signature feature of the Temple of Solomon is its twin pillars. Temple of 71. This is very important to the Hulk Hogan, the basis for his whole persona, the archetype of the temple of Hercules. That's why they had him specifically talk about destroying the twin pillars, because Hercules destroyed the twin pillars. But the twin pillars is also the signature feature of the Temple of Solomon. And Building 7, which also came down on 9/11, was known as the Salomon Brothers Building. They pretty much spelled it out there, not by coincidence. The Salomon Brothers. Salomonis is Solomon in Latin. So Temple is 71. I think this is actually the key 71. And Temple is also 119, like 11th September. Like Tisha B'Av. Tisha B'Av is the 11th. The 11th. Tisha is 9 in Hebrew. So it's the 9th day of the month of Av. Av is the 11th month. So Tisha B'Av commemorates the destruction of the first and second temples. The first one destroyed by Babylon, the second one destroyed by Rome. And both of them chose the 9th day of the 11th month, a date which the Nazis also held sacred. This is a really important number here, 119 and 911, because it shows you that it started in ancient times from Babylon, and it is still being enforced right now. So whatever force is behind Babylon and destruction of the temple and Rome, it's the same force and power now, and it's connected to the Nazis because the Nazis use this date as a sacred. That's a sacred date. It's an important date to them. They had they call it a beer hall push, which is a coup attempt on the German government. They did it on the 9th day of the 11th month. It was 9th November. And also Kristallnacht, which is the opening event of the Holocaust, was done on the 9th day of the 11th month. That's what Kristallnacht, called the Night of Broken Glass. And then when did the Berlin Wall fall? The 9th day of the 11th month, on 9th November. You think the Nazis aren't still around? They're still around. That was their calling card to let you know they're still there. Of course, they're not going to have swastikas and name the party. And I would recommend the work of Joseph P. Farrell. I've talked about this a lot. He's done, I'm surprised more people haven't done work on that, about how the Nazis survived after World War II. They had trillions of dollars, which they money laundered into banks. We're talking about the significance of banks. Trillions of Nazi money was laundered into banks. But that means that those banks are now beholding to the Nazis. And this is their calling card. This number here is 119. And this is an ancient number. So they're just a modern version of an ancient malevolent force. It started in Babylon. But temple is 119. This is in the K cipher. The K cipher is a Francis Bacon cipher. Francis Bacon, very key to the English language. And he's also connected to Queen Elizabeth I. He very credibly, more than likely, is the son of Queen Elizabeth I, although she's said to have been barren, never bore any children. But more than likely, yes, Francis Bacon actually was the son of Elizabeth I. And this is his cipher. And he's very influential on Freemasonry and on the English language. Well, the G is 33. And this is the only cipher. This is in the Elizabethan alphabet. So temple is 119. The temple was brought down on the 9th, the 11th month. The first temple brought down by Babylon. Babylon is 71. This is what Hulk Hogan represents. Babylon is also 118. I say that because Hulk Hogan's birthday is 118. He's a very Babylonian figure. And you want to translate to the tarot, the 118 is the justice card, which refers to this underworld theme that I've been talking about. Because after your soul dies, here he is, Hulk Hogan, just last year talking about communicating with a wrestler, with a person, Roddy Piper, after he was dead. That Roddy Piper literally talked to him, heard his voice on a telephone from from the dead. This Hulk Hogan says this. He's not saying it. He wasn't saying it to be funny. He's saying no. He really did send him that message. So that's this underworld connection you keep seeing. You see with Hogan just in general. Also wrestling. The whole theme of Judgment Day. What's that about? So justice ties into that. And so that's card 11 is justice. You have the scales of justice there, Libra. And 8 is strength. And strength represents Leo, the lion. That's his zodiac sign. So those two cards are the cards of Hulk Hogan's birthday. 118 is also temple. And so you have in ancient Egyptian culture, Ma'at is the goddess who weighs your heart when you die against a feather. You see the heart and the feather. You see twin pillars. This is just I just looked up a tarot card where they use Ma'at because I knew inevitably a lot of tarot cards will use the goddess Ma'at for the justice card. It's card number, it's usually number 11. It's a feather and the heart. And your heart has to be lighter than the feather. So after you die, when they put your heart on this scale, you better hope the scale goes up. the feather on the other end goes down. And so yeah, it's some of the archetypal symbolism that goes into it. And I've talked about the Matrix has that 2 males and 1 female, the sacred feminine Trinity. Her name was Trinity. They pretty much spelled it out, and what was behind a deeper symbolism was behind that. And I'll shout out Mark Passio. I actually learned this from Mark Passio. Shout out to him. A very valuable lesson I learned from him, from listening to him. Trinity represents the sacred feminine. What is the sacred feminine? It's the power of love, literally the most powerful force in existence. There is no other vibration or force more powerful than love. And that is what the sacred feminine represents. And they demonstrate that because she literally, so Neo was dead at that point. She says, I love you. On the surface, it's a love story, but it's not. It's much deeper than that. It's about the power of the sacred feminine. He was dead. And she, using the power of love, brought him back to life. So that's the importance. And it shows you, like, also shows you how evil the ritual is when they keep. So it's not just, oh, they're beating up on Miss Elizabeth, or no, it's they're trying to destroy love, which they can't. You can't destroy the most powerful force in nature. They're trying to do that. And that's the vibration of this lower realm. Talk about the underworld. This is what I believe, that this is the underworld. That's what I believe. It's not this a world below this. No, this is the underworld. It's a higher dimensional world that I guess our memories have been erased from. And that's why this kind of force prevails here. So this is Miss Elizabeth from the main event, how they had it. This is destruction of the sacred feminine. I talked about that last week, but back on the 71s, Hercules to Greece. He goes to the underworld to complete his 12th task. Hercules is 71. He's clearly, there are multiple archetypes that are the basis for the Hulk Hogan persona, but Hercules is clearly like probably the main one. That's why I have so much underworld references. So yeah, Hercules, 71. He dies at 71. He was a Hercules. In fact, now that I think of it, I think Hercules is the main reason that they had him die at 71. That was the main basis of his persona. And so destruction of sacred feminine, that went into the death of Diana. And now Diana is an actual sacred feminine, a goddess from Rome, who was Artemis to Greece, the moon goddess. Of course, the moon rules Cancer. The chariot is Cancer. And Diana was a Cancer. Cody alluded to it. Her birthday was 71 for the moon goddess, Diana. She's literally named after a goddess, a sacred feminine. And her name is Diana Spencer, 71 in Gematria for reverse. Lady Diana, 71. That's her number. It's the number of sacred feminine. Did I put the sacred feminine? Okay, well, it was sacred feminine 71. That's the symbol that she represents. And where did she die? In the tunnel. This is the underworld. So in this case, this is Persephone. This is Miss Elizabeth that Hulk Hogan did in the event where they predicted 9/11. This is it's called the Pont de l'Alma tunnel. Pont, so pont means bridge. It's another thing that Cody alluded to is bridge. He said that brawn means bridge. And well, where Diana died. And I don't know if this wrestler Braun is going to be fighting on the 31st, but his name means bridge. Well, she died at the Pont de l'Alma, which means bridge of the soul. That's literally what it means. You don't think there's a ritual there? And what was there? Now, were you going to say something?
What?
No, I was just agreeing with you, Rambo. Go ahead, Cody.
Oh, okay.
Hold on. Okay. Sorry. So yeah, Braun does mean bridge in Swedish. And what was I going to say? Oh yeah, you said I didn't know the meaning of it was the bridge of the soul, you said?
Yeah, Pont de l'Alma means the bridge of the soul.
Okay, so that's interesting because that wrestler that's named Bronson Reed, he's stealing the souls of Roman Reigns right now. You know, the shoes,
the sneakers,
the souls, yeah. And last year when The Rock came, there was this huge storyline in WWE that everyone was kind of baffled by, but The Rock came back and wanted Cody Rhodes to sell his soul to him. So there's a huge, that might connect back to that. But I just wanted to add in that this wrestler that's stealing shoes right now, which is like a soul, is named Bronson. So, And again, he's fighting with another. So Seth Rollins, who cashed in the Money in the Bank, he has this group with Paul Heyman, who was born on 9/11, by the way. Paul Heyman, who's the Oracle. They're calling him the Oracle, Paul Heyman now. But he was originally the Wise Man. Remember, I did a whole decode about Roman Reigns, how Paul Heyman was with Roman Reigns for like 5 or 6 years, and he was called the Wise Man, right? And I showed how Roman Reigns and him are completely tied with 9/11 because Paul Heyman's birthday is on 9/11, and how Roman Reigns is a serious symbol, but but then he betrayed Roman Reigns this past year, right? So now Paul Heyman, Mr. 9/11, is on the side of Seth Rollins. And that's why now he's also part of this group with these two guys named Bronson. They're both named, the one guy's real name is Bronson. And he's the son of another famous wrestler called Rick Steiner. I can't remember his first name now, but Steiner. They're an old wrestling, they're two brothers that wrestled. They're called the Steiners, which also is a German name, I think. But yeah, so the one guy's name is Bronson, his real name, and the other guy is his stage name is Bronson. So they both have the Bronson. And yeah, so there's something really, my next decode is probably going to be about that, but I just wanted to add that in here while Rambo was talking about the bridge and the soul, because the bridge is also hugely connected to this. And, I've been talking about the Golden Gate a lot as well. So.
Yeah. And if I could just chime in really quickly here, since we've kind of been talking a little bit about LeBron James and Bronny James, him having that heart attack 2 years prior to the day of Hulk Hogan's death, the red and gold, right? The same colors. I mean, it's the same colors as USC that Bronny played at. It's the same colors as the Cleveland Cavaliers that drafted LeBron James. LeBron James, the news broke that he was leaving Cleveland to go to Hollywood on Princess Diana's birthday on 7/1. That was back in 2018, I think it was. So, the paperwork wasn't finalized, but the news broke on July 1st that LeBron James was leaving Cleveland to go to LA, Hollywood, right? You have Hollywood Hogan as one of his nicknames. But I also wanted to shout out He Got Game as well, really quick. So, Rambo, I'm going to take back the screen just for a second, since we're talking about the 71s, right? Back in 1999, the San Antonio Spurs, this is another shout out to you, Cody. We were talking a lot about how the Texas floodings, especially Kerrville being impacted, where Steve Kerr played his last game and won a championship with the Spurs. And sure enough, you have Tim Duncan and David Robinson, known as the Twin Towers. Why am I bringing this up besides the nickname the Twin Towers? Well, they wore the numbers 21 and 50 respectively. You add those up together, you get your 71s, right? And then it got me even thinking more back to LeBron James. The first time he ever made it to an NBA Finals, he got swept by who? The San Antonio Spurs. So can't get away from the San Antonio Spurs with a lot of this stuff. So I just wanted to throw that in there about the Twin Towers, the Spurs, the 71s right here with the Twin Towers. About 2 years prior to 9/11. So, but yeah, Rambo, I just gave you back the screen. So,
All right, thanks.
jeez.
Well, I'm trying to find it. I got so many windows open here. All right, I found it. Okay, sorry.
No, you're good.
Yeah, so Diana dying in the tunnel. And this flame was already there. This is it's a replica of the Statue of Liberty flame, which is made by the French. That was already there. I mean, you think this isn't set up for a ritual, really? The Bridge of the Soul tunnel with the flame on top of it, like, what are the odds? Plenty to decode there. This is reminiscent of Hulk Hogan taking Miss Elizabeth through the tunnel. That sacred feminine symbol, and Elizabeth Hewlett, her name is 71. And of course, that was predictive programming for her actual death. It was the way to describe it was just like that, being wheeled on a gurney, into an ambulance, into a hospital. They were actually doing predictive programming for that as well. But so yeah, there's that symbol above the tunnel. Statue of Liberty. Well, Torch is 71. torch is actually related to the underworld theme. Persephone, who's the queen of the underworld, was abducted by the king of the underworld, Hades or Pluto. And her mother, who was Demeter in Greece, who was Ceres, to Rome, lit a torch to search for her daughter. So this torch is part of this narrative. Of course, when Hercules goes down there, Persephone's there with Pluto as queen of the underworld, but that series with her torch as a torch in one hand, she's a grain goddess. She's actually the symbol of the zodiac sign of Virgo. The symbol for Virgo is a grain goddess, which is most likely Ceres. It could be several, but Ceres is a grain goddess. And that's when Diana died in Virgo, August 31st. That's in Virgo, which is a reference to the symbol of Virgo, which is Ceres, which has the torch. She happens to die with a torch above where she is. And in French, the Liberty Flame is Flamme de la Liberté, which sums to 71. Again, Diana, born on 71. Diana Spencer, 71. Lady Diana, 71. Flamme de la Liberté, just above where she died, 71. So that's another. The other 71s, talk about the divider. We talked already a little bit about Donald Trump and how Hulk Hogan's a divider, how he rips his shirt apart, how Hercules divided the continents. I haven't put the image here, but divider is 71 as well. So, yeah, so those are some of the 71s. And it goes into the Nazi symbol. Where did the Nazis get their symbol? Where did Rome get their symbols? It's the symbols of the eagle. The Nazis had the eagle. Rome had the eagle. What are those symbols of? It's of Jupiter. Jupiter is the chief deity of Rome. That's Zeus. And that is who their chief deity is. But there's an original archetype to that, and that is the Sumerian Enlil. That's who that is, the weather god. That Babylon, in fact, when they destroyed the second temple in Jerusalem, they built the site became a holy site to Jupiter. They even put an eagle. They initially had put an eagle in the entrance to the temple in Jerusalem. The eagle is Jupiter. That's who the Nazis honor. And there's a temple to Jupiter here in the United States. That's the Lincoln Memorial, which is a replica temple to Zeus on Capitoline Hill. Capitoline Hill was that's where the temple to Zeus was in Rome. It's on Capitol Hill. So they're still in power. And this Zeus, okay, Zeus is 71. I could go on and on with the 71s. Zeus actually sums to 71. But again, yes, I'll just leave it here. The original archetype for this Zeus figure, whose all ancient world empires have pretty much honored or worshipped, is the Sumerian Enlil. There's no archetype beyond that. That's what it is. That's the original eagle. And this is something I say often. The new gods are the same as the old gods. So yeah, I'll complete this. I'll put more images on it and upload that. This is part 2, but the video will be, part 3 will be the video, which I showed the intro to at the beginning.
Yeah, that's amazing, Rambo. I'm really looking forward to that one. Just a reminder, you guys, seriously, patreon.com/the truth codes for $5 a month. There's not a better deal in the world. Please make sure to support our dear friend Rambo. He's got plenty more where that came from. I'll tell you that right now. So awesome job as always, Rambo.
Yeah,
appreciate that.
Thanks.
Yeah, it makes me think too about 71 being the 20th prime number, and time equals 20. It also equals 25, like you've talked about. We're in the year 2025, and all of that, right? So I just think, what a better time for the number 71 and all of these time rituals that have been going down.
Yeah. Also going back to the death of the Liverpool player, this is a really major event. I mean, a death of an active player, especially from, you could call him, they don't use this term in sports, but the A-lister. This is he's in his prime. This is the champions of England. The Premier League is the most popular sports league in the world. The champion, he's in his prime. He played for the Portuguese national team, and Portugal is a contender for the World Cup. There'll be the World Cup next year. Portugal is a contender, so he's a prime player. So the death of an active player like this is very rare. You could have a death of a former player. That's happened. Or a death of an active player who maybe not an A-lister, like his brother. He died of his brother was a soccer player as well, but he played in the second division in Portugal. this is definitely a pretty big deal, and I don't even think we can all grasp the full significance of it.
So it would be like as if Michael Jordan in his prime died.
Well, I wouldn't put him at Michael Jordan's level.
Okay,
he's not at Michael Jordan's level. I mean, I guess it would be like there's a member of the Chicago Bulls at the time, like I don't know, maybe like Steve Kerr at the time. You say if Steve Kerr was with the Bulls,
yeah,
at the time. So it wouldn't be Jordan. It wouldn't be Pippen. He's not a Jordan. He's not a Pippen.
Okay.
He'd be more like a Steve Kerr or a John Paxson.
Okay. I mean,
but
an
integral, an integral part of a great team, but not. So he's still, it's just a rare thing. So there's more to this. But the thing is the number 20. He wore the jersey number 20 because you're mentioning how 71 is the 20th prime number is 71. This goes back to Diogo Jota again. He wore jersey number 20. He signed for Liverpool in the year 2020 when Liverpool just won the Premier League. It was the 20th Premier League or English championship, and they tied Manchester United for the record with 20 English championships. So it tied at 2020 between Liverpool and Manchester United. He wore 20. He signed for them in 2020. So yeah, so he when you talk about 71, he is related to the 71 as well.
I don't want to necessarily take a hard shift, but we have been talking a bit about Hulk Hogan as well. And Farming from Scratch put in an interesting comment. Did you ever touch on this one? Apparently Hulk Hogan's birthday is in the start of Back to the Future. I haven't had a chance to rewatch it, but I'm curious what Farming from Scratch means by that. Hulk Hogan's birthday is in the start of Back to the Future. Or Cody, I don't know if maybe you caught on to that as well. Perhaps it's in a newspaper clipping or something in the background. I don't know.
It was the HH88 connection to Back to the Future. That's what I can think of.
Okay. But yeah, Farming, if you're still out there, yeah, please elaborate where we can go find that. That's interesting. And I do also want to be cognizant of time. We are coming up on that hour-and-a-half mark. So just want to make sure, I know it's late over where you're at, Cody. So always appreciate you joining, and you, Rambo, as well. This is all great stuff. Oh, okay. Farming from Scratch says it's in the Denver clock part. I think Farming might actually be calling in. We'll take this one call as we close out really quick. Hold on just a second. Hello, caller.
Yeah.
Hey, is this Farming from Scratch?
Yeah.
Good to see it.
Hi. It's in the Denver clock part. If you look at the one clock on Denver, it's 7:53. If you change that to 24-hour, you'll get a 1953. And then if you look on the other side of the coffee pot, that's not there, you've got the gold clock that has one hand pointing to the 8 and the other one to the 11. You've got his birthday there.
Wow.
And then you can do a number jump from the red clock that's behind the coffee pot that's twisted. It's rotated. So if you do a number jump from his birthday through to his death date, you'll get some numerology. And that numerology is the 12 and 6, which is rotated to the 2 and 8. So those numbers there are the numbers you get for his number jump where he dies. So just wanted to mention that.
Very interesting. Yeah, Rambo, it goes back to your Denver clock part.
Yeah. Well, that I would like to elaborate on that clock a little bit.
Sure.
Because that all connects back to Aussie as well, and it also connects to Peyton Manning. So, if you look at the clock, it's got the Denver Bronco sign. That is, if you think about the D for D-Day. Now, Peyton Manning's call is Omaha. Okay, that is, and D-Day's on 6/6. So if you go 88 days with the other part of that clock that's next door with the cross through it, you'll go 88 days, and that'll take you to 9-1. Okay? And if you do the gematria for coffee pot that's missing, coffee pot equals 9-1. So the 1st of September. So it's quite an interesting, it's an interesting number jump from 6-6 through the 88 days to 9-1. I don't know what else to say about it, really. I've got a whole bunch of decodes on my channel about that. So,
now would be a good time to plug that. Can we find you at Farming from Scratch on YouTube, or is there a different?
Yeah, no, that's it. That's all I do. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Well,
so I've got a whole bunch of stuff on Back to the Future, and like Cody was talking about, the end of the line. That decode. If you actually get, I've got a whole bunch of stuff on the end of the line, and it all points to the 9-1 date. So, yeah. But if another thing is with that Peyton Manning thing, I've got a decode on that because on Ozzy's death date, Peyton Manning was 18,018 days old, and I was thinking something would happen on 7/22. That's when he's 18,018 days old, because of course he wears the 1818 shirt and everything. So, yeah. Ozzy.
No, that.
If you think of the Wizard of Oz, when the Wizard of Oz returns home, the wizard goes to Omaha, Nebraska, and that's the sort of connection there with Peyton Manning with the Omaha and then D-Day. So,
yeah, shout out to Susan. She actually just dropped that in the chat as well about the connections with the Wizard of Oz and Omaha. You know, I've just me personally, ever since Rambo really brought up that Denver clock, the Broncos, I've been starting to see a lot more horse symbolism. You know, we've talked a little bit about Klay Thompson, who's now a Dallas Maverick, right? And now he has a love relationship, whatever, with Megan the Stallion. And obviously a Bronco is a horse. And next year, what is the Chinese New Year next year? It's the year of the horse, right? Yeah. So just some things to think about. I'm starting to see more of that horse symbolism as well. But that's fantastic work, Farming. I'm going to make sure to give you a sub after we close out this this stream. I just wrote down your handle. So make sure you guys Farming from Scratch. Great work. I really do appreciate the call.
I've got a whole bunch of decodes and stuff and all that. You know, tons of stuff on Back to the Future. Right now, I'm looking at Madonna. It's interesting what you're talking about with Diana and everything, because that all ties back to Madonna. And I'm also looking at the Hoover Dams, my sort of main thing, Madonna and the Hoover Dam. So it's interesting, that kind of stuff. Yeah, check me out. All right, thanks.
Hey, thanks so much for the call. Really appreciate it. Have a good night.
All right.
Take care. Bye. All right, very cool. It's always nice to get a call. And we're still within that hour, 30-minute mark. We're closing in. Yeah, the Enthused Dream says it's the year of the fire horse. That's interesting. Mr. S touches on how the horse is the animal that causes earthquakes for Poseidon. Obviously, we've had some earthquakes and tsunami warnings and things like that recently. So things to think about. And shout out to my boy Tom Zames. If you guys didn't see our live stream last night, we had a blast. Please make sure to go follow my buddy Tom Zames as well. And yeah, and the caller was Farming from Scratch. So make sure to go support his channel as well. Was there anything else you guys wanted to add on to that call? Jeez, my mic, man.
Yeah, I want to say that was a great connection overall with the Ozzy and the Peyton Manning thing. Growing up as a Colts fan, as a reason I got into football was because of Peyton Manning. So super interesting that he was 18-18 on that death of Ozzy, and it connects to Omaha. I know Rambo's talked about Peyton Manning before and Omaha. He had a video on his YouTube before he deleted it about that, I believe. But yeah, I got to bounce here in about 2 or 3 minutes. But like overall a great stream, and that last edition is something definitely to look into with the Back to the Future, because we know that theme is still going on even after all this other stuff we've been talking about. The Back to the Future theme is still going on, rolling behind the scenes out, if you want to call it, because we've been on that theme all year, and it's interesting. I think that Lost to the Future clock stopped. I mentioned this in a stream a few days or like last week. Somebody informed me that the search for that lost guitar had stopped, and I believe it stopped on Ozzy's death date, because that was the day I was live, and somebody had pointed out to me that the clock had stopped at 3 months and 4 days. And the funny thing was, in that decode, I was talking about Malcolm Jamal Warner, and I was talking about the number 304, and the clock had just happened to stop that day at 30 days and 4 hours or something like that. 3 months and 4 days, something, which leads us to, I believe, the October 21st, or somewhere around the birthday of would be the. What's interesting is that clock, or that clock stopping, would lead us to the day before or on the day of the first day of the 88th year of Doc Brown. How about that?
Oh,
because he would turn 87 that day, but that means he'd be starting his 88th year.
Right.
So that's something really to watch for. I mean, think about what he's known for is the 88 miles per hour. So, I mean,
you know what I just realized too, Cody, when you just said Doc Brown, it reminds me of the coach in the NBA, Doc Rivers. And where is he coaching? I'm pretty sure he's still the head coach of Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love. So I don't know.
Huh.
In Rivers, right? Doc Rivers, all the water connections we've been talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry,
wow,
I didn't mean to throw you off on that, but I just had to throw that in there.
That's interesting. I do remember that. I know that coach. I just I'm sure there's probably a connection there, but I definitely think people. I'm glad that this guy farming from scratch is still on the Back to the Future stuff, because I try to go off on different subjects sometimes, but I could be just decoding Back to the Future connections probably every day if I wanted. So I'm sure Rambo could too, but.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, hey, I know you got to jump off, Cody. Thank you again so much. This is my favorite night of the week, getting together with some brilliant minds. Thank you again, farming from scratch, with the call and the amazing observations. Please make sure to go follow and subscribe to Farming from Scratch. And yeah, anything else you want to share, Cody, as we close it out?
No, I got to jump off here real fast, but like I said, thanks for having me on as usual, and lots of good stuff to think about here in this decode. I saw someone in the comments mention something about the shoe bomber. His name is Reed, and now you have this wrestler named Reed stealing shoes. So I got to look into that.
Makes me think of Andy Reid, the head coach of the Chiefs, with that yellow and red, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So again, thanks to everyone who adds, and thanks to everyone. You, AJ, much love to you, brother, and again, love to you also, Rambo. And I'm appreciative of you guys and everyone in the chat. Thank you guys all for watching my channel and us here on this channel. And I appreciate you guys. So
we appreciate you too, Coach.
Yeah,
I'm always looking forward to it. So
yeah, thanks again.
Yeah, and shout out to Mr. S. He just clarified. Doc Rivers is now in Milwaukee, but he was the coach in Philly at a time.
Oh, well, Milwaukee connects back to the Brewers in the Miller times.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, exactly. That's even better. So, and he was also the head coach of the Clippers at a time, which is a ship. So, all the maritime stuff we've been talking about. So, anyways, yeah, Cody, love you, man.
All right, man. See you guys next week, and hope you guys have a good week and stuff. So much love.
All right, you too. Take care.
Yes, sir.
See you.
And yeah, so Rambo, as we close things out, I will pass things off to you, my friend. Anything else you wanted to share or touch on as we close things out? I know we've covered a lot of ground tonight.
I have one last little thing, but it's on I'd have to do a different screen though. It's okay. A really short little
Let's do it.
It's actually one of the patrons. It's along the lines of the Hercules. Let me see, where is this?
We appreciate you, Dirk.
That's this one here. So yeah, so one of my patrons, his name is Aris. He told me about the movie Hercules, and how I've said that Hulk Hogan is primarily based on Hercules. So this was the scene. I did. So he sent me a clip, and I looked at the clip from Hercules, and I saw another identical pose. Like last week, we had the identical pose. Here's from the 1989, Twin Towers fight with Hulk Hogan with Miss Elizabeth. Look at this scene from Hercules, the movie. This is Hercules holding the female.
Oh wow!
It's that was in 1997. But again, and this is Hercules in the underworld. So just I just wanted to point this out. Is Aris? He sent me a clip to look at Hercules, and it's the identical pose. Again, I just thought I'd point that out. I'll just leave it at that.
Well, like you always say, Rambo, a picture's worth 1,000 words, but I always mess it up. But a symbol is worth an image is worth 1,000 symbols. Did I get it?
Yeah. A picture can express 1,000 words. A symbol can express 1,000 pictures.
Yep.
A symbol expresses 1,000 pictures.
Yeah, I mean, as Susan says here, poses are rituals. I mean, the way that people pose, whether they're on a basketball court, a football field, the courtroom, politics, you name it. Tom Zame says, yeah, love that.
Yeah, the images have power. It's an archetype. It actually, these images have an impact on our unconscious at the very deepest levels of the unconscious. Our minds comprehend what they mean. And these people who have this knowledge, it does convey something on a very unconscious level to every human being. That's the reason they keep repeating them. And
I was going to say, I've seen this pose before. The only one I can think of is the show The OC at the very end when I don't mean to spoil anybody that wants to watch that show, but that this is essentially exactly what happens at the end of the show. Another love story. But
Hulk Hogan is definitely based off of Hercules.
Yep. Absolutely. And then and like we touched on last week, the whole fight with Ozzy and Elton John. Shout out to the commentator just pointing out that Elton John's middle name is Hercules. So perfect fit. So Cody says, don't forget to hit the likes, everyone. Thanks again. So Cody, we love you, man. Can't wait to catch you next week. I'm sure we'll talk in between. You got a lot of love over here, Coates, and as you do as well, Rambo. So I guess I'll say my closing. Just thank you guys so much for all of the contributions. Seriously, all the likes and the subscribes, they mean the world to us, you guys. We do this for you. We enjoy doing it. We enjoy hanging out with you guys. And, our work only gets better as we look into the comments and take calls, like with Farming from Scratch, because like Rambo says, I mean, we're only one person with two eyes. So we can only take in so much and see so much of what's going on around us. And that's why I love these collaborations. So I just want to say thank you again, Cody, as always, and Rambo, true blessing as always. Like I said, this is my favorite night of the week. I love to always catch up with you. So thank you for everything that you do for the community. Please, you guys, make sure to go to patreon.com/thetruthcodes, $5 a month. Give him a shot. To see what you guys think about his content, because it's amazing that the work that you show and the time that it takes for you to make those types of videos. I know it takes a long time, so I really appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Rambo. I'll let you close us out, my friend.
No, thank you again for putting this together. And again, thanks to Cody as well for his contributions, Farming from Scratch, and everybody who watched. I mean, most people who watch. Thank you, Tom Zames, for the compliment. Most people will watch after, aren't watching live. As I like to thank them ahead of time. And thank you. You're the linchpin who brought us all together. And
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Well, couldn't do it without you and Codes. So I'm so blessed to be connected with you and you guys agreeing to collaborate with me. So it's a true blessing. We got a lot of love coming in here as we close things out. I'll just shout out Tom Zames once again. We had a great live last night called What the Fuck? It was just talking about life and kind of really going, based off of kind of your philosophy, Rambo, just asking those generalized questions of what is this place? Who are we? Why are we here? Right? Because most of the world walks around like as if they know what's going on, and it's all based off of what we've been taught and raised and conditioned to believe. So make sure to go follow Tom Zames. He's new in the YouTube space. So and he's a big fan of yours as well, Rambo. So
yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. So all right, without further ado, we'll close it out. You guys, love, love, love always. Make sure to lean into that love, brother. And we will catch you guys again next week. Okay, everybody take care of yourselves. Until next time.
Right.
Peace.
Take care.